So the Olympics, as we were speaking about prior, the whole boycott thing, it was something that China was so desperate to kind of kibosh. They didn't want any bad press. We actually noticed this in our last podcast when we brought up the Olympics. I believe it was before it even started, right? Yeah. The amount of unbelievable hatred and deflection that we were getting in the live chats was crazy, and you could tell that they were tasked to stop any conversation about this.
That's what the Wu Mao do. That's their entire purpose for existing.
So I'm going to talk about this a lot in my upcoming video about why the Olympics is so important, but to give you a very succinct version, the Olympics in 2008 was so important for China. And I'll get into the leadership and stuff later, but it was so important for China from a soft power perspective because nobody was paying attention to China at the time.
Yes.
And they put on the most elegant and insane, crazy red carpet performance that the Olympics had ever seen in any country, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, people are like, it's that poor country, China over there. And China they wow everyone. Everyone in the whole world was blown away.
Yeah, they're like, wow, China's come out
right.
And shown us that it's a big superpower. And
yes, and that was a net positive win. It was almost the first instance of soft power working. This is a bit of a historical lesson of soft power working for the Communist Party of China. And it also was an example of how kind of China was like, we want to be part of this international picture. And people are like, let's start paying attention to China. Maybe they do want to play nice.
I got to say that I was there during the 2008 Olympics in China. And they were so paranoid that anything could go wrong, that they even locked us foreigners up. As in, I was studying at the Shenzhen University. I've told the story before. You've probably heard it. Maybe some haven't. But we were told that we would not be allowed to leave the campus, the foreigners. Chinese people could.
Yeah.
But they were like, listen, the teacher who liked us very much actually came and told me and a group of other people, they said, look, if you don't leave here within the next hour, you're not going to be able to leave for the rest of the day, because the torch was going to be run through past the university, because that part of Nanshan is particularly pretty, along that one road, and they'd set it all up. And they're like, foreigners are not allowed to leave the campus. They were so paranoid at that time. But luckily we got told beforehand. So me and a couple of mates, we quickly ducked out and went and got pissed.
Nice.
But, we didn't go out because we didn't want to be, shooed away or whatever.
Sure.
But they were paranoid.
Right. So that's the stuff you didn't see. But the performances, the stuff that they showed the rest of the world impressed everyone. So it actually had a lot of implications for Xi Jinping as a leader of China, right? Yeah. That's another story for another time. But they thought that the Beijing 2022 Olympics, which I don't know how they get another bid. Well, I do know.
Yeah.
The IOC, the International Olympic Committee, is a piece of shit.
But you're going to see how much they suck later on. Oh, my gosh.
But anyway, Xi Jinping kind of, thought of this as another potential soft power win, but China has been facing so much backlash because of how bad it's gotten.
Yeah.
China was facing a lot of human rights issues before, but it's 10 times worse now.
That's the thing, though. In the past, because China kept opening up, I think a lot of people gave them a free pass. They were like, look, they still have issues. Yes, the Tibet issue. Yes, this was before the whole Xinjiang Uyghur thing came to light.
Yes.
And so people were like, you know what? Yeah, they've got some issues. The one-child policy,
but they're going to liberalize.
But they're getting better, so that kind of thing's hopefully going to go away.
Look, people are able to open their own businesses now.
Yeah.
People are allowed to have reproductive rights now. All this kind of stuff was being passed around. And so it was kind of concrete examples of why China was opening up. So when you have the reversal of that, and now, I mean, for lack of better words, China has literally become the new Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
It's a fascist state. It's a Han
it's racial superiority.
State. Yeah. And its laws suggest that it wants a Han majority ethno state.
Yeah, exactly.
And it operates as such. And the rights and the liberalization that we've seen has gone away. So now the press, I think there's this really awful complex that China's gone through, is that the leadership doesn't know about this stuff.
Yeah.
I think they do to a certain extent. Obviously, they have millions of people tasked with kind of damage control and promoting China's soft power. But at the same time, the top leadership that wants things like the Beijing Olympics don't understand the implications that come with that, because Xi Jinping, Li Keqiang, all these people at the top head, they don't have people, they've surrounded themselves with people that only tell them good things. Yes men, right?
Yeah.
Yes, do this bullshit policy that is not a good idea. Yeah. Yes, do this. And if you don't, or if you're corrupt, you'll be deemed corrupt and we'll literally kill you.
Yeah.
Or make you vanish or kick you out of the party. So I think what they haven't realized is that this was definitely a bad idea,
yes.
especially around this sensitive time when you're running genocide camps and things like this. when you're doing things that are hyper focused in the media, people like us are covering it. Even every single mainstream media is not ignoring China anymore.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is have an international Olympics surrounding and bringing attention to these issues, right?
Correct, yeah.
So I think that this is really blown up in their face, and I think a lot of these foibles and stuff could have been ignored, like the bad shit that's happening during the Olympics. But because of the hyper attentive focus on China in general, we're looking at things like the cheating. Yes. The venues, the food, the leaks, the treatment of the athletes. Yeah. All of these things are piling up and getting hyper focused too. So it's actually a net negative to me, I think, as for a soft power loss.
Yes, definitely a soft power loss. But they didn't understand that Xi Jinping needed this to solidify his leadership, because it was the 2008 Olympics that actually gave him his leadership in the first place, because he was given political responsibility for those games. And because they were so successful, that's what catapulted him to the forefront to become the new leader of China.
One of the worst things that happens. Soft power, and this is like, we talk about this like it's a joke or something sometimes, but soft power, in fact, does lead to horrendous consequences, like modern day Hitler being in charge of China now.
That's right.
If without the Olympic soft power win in 2008, we wouldn't be where we are today.
No, absolutely not.